The words that changed everything. Right now, I'm manipulating you. I just used 3 specific words that changed how you're listening to this video. You probably didn't notice. Most people never do. But Ludwig Wittgenstein found a way to see it happening in real time. Those 3 words were right now and manipulating. The moment I said them, your brain shifted gears. You started listening differently, more defensively, maybe a bit skeptical. That's exactly what I wanted. See, manipulation doesn't work through force or tricks. It works through something much more subtle. It changes the rules of the conversation without you realizing it. Wittgenstein called this a language game. Most people walk through life completely blind to this. They think manipulation is obvious, some cartoon villain twirling their mustache. But real manipulation? It happens in the space between words, in how we frame what we're talking about. Your boss does it when they turn a salary discussion into a conversation about team commitment. Politicians do it when they reframe policy debates as questions of patriotism. Even your friends do it, probably without knowing. But Wittgenstein cracked the code. He found a method to see through the reframing in real time, and once you learn it, you can't unsee it. The 3 skills that change everything. Here's what you're going to walk away with today. 3 specific skills that will completely shift how you experience conversations. First, you'll learn to spot the moment someone changes the rules on you. That split second when they shift the frame of what you're discussing. Most people miss this entirely. They feel something's off but can't put their finger on what. Second, you'll master what I call the Wittgenstein question. One simple question that cuts through any manipulation attempt. It's like having X-ray vision for hidden agendas. Third, you'll understand how to consciously choose which conversation you want to have. Instead of getting dragged into someone else's game, you decide the rules. These aren't theories. They're practical tools you can use immediately. Your next phone call, your next meeting, your next argument with your partner. Wittgenstein spent years studying how language actually works in real life. Not grammar rules or dictionary definitions, but how we use words to get things done. He discovered that we're always playing games with language, and most of the time, we don't even realize which game we're in. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll start noticing how your boss shifts from budget discussion to loyalty test mid-sentence, how politicians turn policy questions into character questions. How does your friend make their problem somehow become your responsibility? But here's the key. You won't just see it. You'll know exactly what to do about it. Anyone can learn this, but most people won't. Before we go any further, let me be clear about something. You don't need a philosophy degree for this. You don't need to have read Wittgenstein or even know how to pronounce his name properly. Hell, I still stumble over it half the time. What you do need is something much harder to come by: the willingness to question your own reactions. When someone makes you angry, when someone convinces you to do something you didn't plan to do, when you walk away from a conversation feeling confused or manipulated, you have to be willing to ask yourself, what just happened there? Most people won't do this. They'll blame the other person. They'll say, he's just manipulative, or she's crazy, and leave it at that. But that doesn't help you spot it next time. The second requirement? You have to be willing to see your own manipulation attempts. Because once you understand how this works, you'll start noticing when you do it too. That's not comfortable, but it's necessary. So why Wittgenstein specifically? Why not some modern psychologist or communication expert? Because Wittgenstein figured out something that most psychology research still misses, that manipulation isn't about lying or emotional pressure. It's about changing the rules of language itself, right in the middle of the conversation. And once you see how those rule changes work, you'll never be caught off guard again. The moment everything changes. Here's what happened to me last week. I'm at a coffee shop minding my own business when this guy sits down and starts talking. Nice enough fellow. We chat about the weather, work, and nothing special. Then he says, "You seem like someone who really cares about their health." I nod. Sure, I try to stay in shape. "That's great," he continues, "because I've discovered something that's changed my entire relationship with energy and focus. Now we're playing a different game." We started with a casual conversation. No agenda, just two people being polite. But he just shifted us into a sales pitch without announcing it. Same words, same tone, but completely different rules. This is what Wittgenstein called a language game, and it's the foundation of how manipulation actually works. Think of language games like this. Every conversation has invisible rules about what words mean, what counts as valid, and what the real purpose is. When you're chatting with a neighbor over the fence, you're playing the being neighborly game. When you're in a job interview, you're playing the professional evaluation game. Different rules, different meanings for the same words. Manipulators are experts at switching games mid-conversation without telling you. Watch how this works in politics. A candidate starts by talking about freedom in the context of personal liberty. We're playing the constitutional rights game. Then, without warning, they shift to talking about freedom, meaning economic opportunity. Now, we're playing the business game. Same word, different game, different rules about what's true and what matters. Your brain doesn't catch the switch. It assumes we're still playing the same game we started with. Here's the key insight. The moment of manipulation isn't when someone lies to you. It's when they change which language game you're playing without your knowledge or consent. They redefine what the conversation is actually about while you're still operating under the old rules. Once you learn to spot these frame shifts, these moments when the game changes, you'll see them everywhere. Sales calls, family arguments, political speeches, and even casual conversations can involve someone who has a hidden agenda. The person who controls which game you're playing controls the entire interaction. But only if you don't notice the switch. The question that breaks every manipulation trick. So here's the weapon Wittgenstein accidentally gave us. One simple question that cuts through any manipulation attempt like a knife through warm butter. When you feel that subtle shift, when something doesn't quite add up in a conversation, ask yourself, what game are we playing now? Not out loud, obviously, that would be weird, but in your head, pause and actually ask it. What are the rules of this specific interaction? What does winning look like? What do words mean here? This question forces your brain to step outside the conversation and examine the frame. The manipulator loses their biggest advantage, your unconscious participation in their chosen game. Let me show you how this works in real situations. Your boss calls you into their office. They start with casual chat about your weekend, then smoothly transition to asking if you're really committed to the team's success. Without the Wittgenstein question, you stay trapped in the friendly conversation game, trying to prove your commitment through personal stories and promises. But ask yourself what game you're actually playing now, and you realize this isn't friendly chat anymore. This is a performance evaluation disguised as concern. Different game, different rules. The same technique works in sales calls. The rep starts by asking about your family, your hobbies, and your concerns. You think you're playing the helpful advisor game. Then they pivot to scarcity. Only 3 spots left. Price goes up tomorrow. Other customers are calling. What game are we playing now? Not helpful advice. This is urgency manipulation. The rules just changed completely, but they didn't announce it. Here's what makes this so effective. Manipulators count on you not noticing the switch. They need you to keep operating under the old game's rules while they play by new ones. But the moment you ask that question, what game are we playing now? Their whole strategy falls apart. You see the puppet strings. The question works because it reveals something manipulators desperately want to hide. They're not having the same conversation you think you're having. They're playing chess while telling you it's checkers. But here's where it gets really interesting. What about the subtle stuff? The manipulation that's so smooth, you don't even feel the game changing. The same word, different universe. Once you can spot the game switch, you need to master something even more subtle. The same exact words can mean completely different things depending on which game you're playing. Wittgenstein had this thought experiment about beetles in boxes. Imagine everyone carries a box labeled beetle, but nobody can look inside anyone else's box. We all use the word beetle in conversation, assuming we're talking about the same thing. But what if your beetle is actually a marble? What if mine is empty? That's exactly what happens with manipulation. The manipulator uses words you recognize, but they mean something entirely different in their game. Take the word commitment. In a relationship conversation, it might mean emotional investment, shared future, and mutual support. But switch to the sales game? Now commitment means signing a contract, putting down money, and agreeing to terms you can't back out of. Same word, different universe. Here's how you map these rules. When someone uses a loaded word, ask yourself what that word actually does in this specific game. Not what it means in the dictionary. What function is it performing right here, right now? The word trust in a friendship game builds connection. Trust me on this means I have your best interests at heart. But in a manipulation game, trust me actually means stop questioning what I'm telling you. It's not asking for trust. It's demanding compliance. The word family at Sunday dinner means belonging, care, and shared history. But when your boss says, "We're all family here," they're playing a different game. Now family means work unpaid overtime without complaining. You start seeing this everywhere once you know how to look. The politician's freedom isn't your freedom. The advertiser's savings aren't your savings. The manipulator's love isn't your love. This is why arguments feel so crazy sometimes. You're using the same words but playing by completely different rule books. Neither of you realizes it. But here's what changes everything. Once you can map these language rules, you get to choose which game you want to play. You get to choose which game you're playing. And this is where everything changes. You're not trapped in their language game anymore. See, most people think they have to play whatever game the other person starts. Boss switches to the family game, you feel obligated to be the good family member. Salesperson starts the limited time game, you panic and make quick decisions. But here's what Wittgenstein understood that changes everything. You can choose which language game to participate in. You can say, "I'm not playing that game. Let's play this one instead." When your boss says, "We're all family here," you can respond with workplace language. I understand you value team cohesion. Here's what I need to be productive. You're not being rude. You're just playing by different rules. When the salesperson says, "This deal expires tonight," you can stay in the research game. "I appreciate the offer. I'll need time to compare options." They want urgency. You're choosing deliberation. This isn't about being difficult. It's about staying in control of the conversation. And this matters. Don't become the manipulator yourself. Just because you can spot these games doesn't mean you should start playing them on other people. The point isn't to win every interaction. It's to have honest ones. With great power comes great responsibility, right? Once you see how language games work, you'll be tempted to use them. Resist that. The goal is authentic communication, not tactical advantage. Choose the game that leads to truth, not the one that gets you what you want. The trap of seeing manipulation everywhere. Now, before you go out and start dissecting every conversation like you're some kind of linguistic detective, we need to talk about the mistakes that'll turn you into that person nobody wants to be around. First mistake: overanalyzing normal conversation. Your friend asks if you want to grab coffee, and suddenly you're thinking, "What game is this? Are they trying to manipulate me into spending money?" No. Sometimes coffee is just coffee. Sometimes people genuinely want to spend time with you without hidden agendas. The goal isn't to become paranoid. It's to recognize actual manipulation when it happens. Second mistake: becoming defensive instead of staying engaged. Once you start spotting these language games, there's a temptation to shut down emotionally. To treat every conversation like a chess match you need to win. That's not living. That's hiding behind analysis. Stay human. Stay curious about other people. The Wittgenstein method should make you more present in conversations, not less. Third mistake, and this is the big one: missing your own manipulation of others. You become so good at spotting when others are playing games that you ignore the games you're playing yourself. You start thinking, "I'm just being strategic," while doing exactly what you've learned to recognize in others. Check yourself. Are you switching language games to get what you want? Are you using emotional frames to avoid difficult conversations? The mirror works both ways. Start small, build the skill. All right, you've got the method. You know how to ask the Wittgenstein question. You can spot the frame shifts and map the language rules. But here's what happens next. You walk out of here thinking you're Neo from the Matrix, ready to see through everyone's manipulation in real time. And you crash and burn within a week. Start small. Practice this in conversations that don't matter. When the barista asks if you want to make it a large, notice the game. When your coworker mentions they're really busy lately while looking at you expectantly, catch the frame. Low stakes, no pressure. These practice rounds teach you something crucial. Most conversation isn't manipulation at all. It's just people being people. The skill isn't about finding games everywhere. It's about recognizing the difference between genuine human messiness and actual strategic manipulation. Once you've got the basics down, go deeper. Read Wittgenstein's Blue Book. Yeah, it's dense. Yeah, it's weird. But it's where this whole language game concept comes from. And understanding the source material changes how you see communication entirely. This isn't a one-time insight you master in a weekend. It's a skill you build over months and years. Think of it like learning to play chess. You don't just memorize the rules and suddenly beat grandmasters. You practice, you make mistakes, you get better gradually. The goal isn't to become some kind of manipulation-detecting machine. It's to stay present and aware in your conversations while protecting yourself from the people who really are playing games. The philosophy that changes everything. Look, most people think philosophy is some abstract academic thing that has nothing to do with real life. They're wrong. What did we just walk through? That's practical philosophy at work. Wittgenstein didn't write about language games to impress other professors. He was trying to solve real problems about how humans communicate and misunderstand each other. The skill you're building here, spotting manipulation through language awareness, that's just one application. Once you start seeing how language games work, you notice them everywhere. In politics, advertising, relationships, and even your own internal dialogue. And here's what I've learned after years of studying this stuff. The people who get really good at thinking clearly, they find each other. There's this quiet community of people who refuse to accept easy answers, who keep questioning, who value precision over comfort. If that sounds like you, then you're in the right place. We're building something here, not just individual skills, but a way of approaching the world that cuts through the noise. Subscribe if you want more tools like this. Real philosophy for real problems. Next week, we're looking at how Stoics dealt with information overload. And trust me, their methods work better than any productivity app. But here's the question I'll leave you with. Now that you can see the games being played around you, what game do you want to play with your own life?